about Amy, she was very comfortable in any environment. She could sing with a big orchestra for one song, and then the next song she could just get up and sing with herself with a guitar.
Every show was different, even though we were playing the same songs, she wouldn't sing it the same, the band wouldn't play it the same.
But straight away you could tell that there was, she had a timeless quality.
Amy came from obviously a jazz background, so but she fused jazz with pop.
She would definitely refer to Donny Hathaway. It was obvious that Dinah Washington was a big inspiration to her.
She had that great ability to feel what was coming through her and express it straight away, vocally on stage.
I don't think it's strange that there was a British girl being influenced by jazz, because there's always been that and there always will be. What was strange was someone so young with such authenticity.
See, she was like a child of hip hop as well, having grown up in a modern era. So that informed the mix.
A lot of the artists I'd worked with, they'd been established. In many ways, I'd looked up to them. But with Amy, I could watch the whole rise.
She always said that had she not become a huge star, she'd still do it anyway. It was all about the getting the music across for her.
She was probably the most courageous singer I've worked with, in the fact that she could just get up there, and if she just wanted to play a guitar and sing, she could captivate the whole audience, and she just had that ability.
Funny story, I was playing with my peers, and we were playing in the pub in North London, and Amy just happened to be there.
I used to do a lot of gigs at the Jazz Cafe, and she would her face would always pop up. Do you know what I mean? So I knew her this was before the first album. Yeah.
And so we played our show, and then after the gig, Amy just came up to me and said, "Oh, I'm having auditions for my band," but I didn't know who she was at the time. I took her number, and then she called me for the audition, and then I went down to the audition, and from there, that was basically the rest was history.
When I first started working with Amy, the demographic was Radio 2, so it was people even older than myself at the time. But then I remember after the first 10 months of touring, I remember we did a gig in Bristol at the university, and the demographic changed to people her age, because she was only 19 at the time, and that's when I saw the shift.
After Back to Black, when we heard the new album, and I think I first noticed it when we had like a rehearsal with her, and then normally we would go for a drink around lunch, and then people were honking and beeping their horns. So from then I was like, okay, something's definitely changed.
I think it was a kind of a less is more approach with her as far as directing the band. She just kind of let us do our thing, but they would step in if it wasn't right.
There was always a nod and a wink or a giggle and a smile if she liked something you did. Do you know what I mean? Or something she didn't.
She wouldn't hold back from saying what she didn't want. She didn't like things to sound too soft. She didn't like things to be too glossy. She wanted quite a raw sound.
She it definitely gave us that freedom to within the boundary to express ourselves, but in the jazz context, which is great.
It was a happy ship, it was a happy ship. They looked after us, she looked after us, and no, it never felt like it was a drain.
She had great observational humour, and very, very quick with it, extremely quick. And she was very silly, very jokey, we had a lot of laughs with her.
She would always be like a mother figure to everyone, not just me, but the band. She always wanted to make sure everybody's doing okay, you know what I mean? So she was very, very loving, Her
spirit was so strong that she's going to touch people for forever, really. I know it's a very short career, but it continues to touch people, and I think just the sheer spirit of her art.
Sometimes you only realise now what a huge impact she had, especially for the young women, around that time, how empowering she was to people,
And when she was alive, I used to think about her every day. When she's not alive, I still think about her every day. In situations like this, I'm always going to be remembering her, which is not a problem, because she's a wonderful person.
None of us had thought about doing anything like this, I don't think. Do you know what I mean? But it was kind of, I think, you know, if Dale was saying it was kosher for us, you know what I mean? That's how we considered it, really, I think.
Like, people said to me, you're going to do an Amy tribute, aren't you? And I hadn't thought about it, but yeah, you know, and if we're going to do it, then really we should just use the original band and do it. You know?
At first it felt a bit weird because it was out without Amy, but then you kind of feel that responsibility of, like, you know, when you see people, how people react and the smiles it brings them, just to hear someone else singing Amy's songs, you know, you realise that, you know, it's special, and so it's great in that regard.
As a group of musicians, you know, we bonded musically and otherwise. Some of people I knew for years before the band, and it's just great to keep the whole thing going, you know, keep it alive.
When we did the Forever Amy tour back in the UK, I saw a new generation of people where they were 20-year-old girls who would have been 8, 9 at the time when Amy was alive and performing. So you can see the influence there straight away because they knew everything about Amy, they could sing the songs.
She had so many fans all over the world, and so, you know, so many people that might not have got to see her, you know, when she was in her prime, you know.
So you get the essence of what was going on stage, you know, really, and that's the great thing about it. It still feels like an Amy concert in a lot of ways, you know.
I think it was great for us to be back together again, and it was kind of needed in a way, you know, for us all to sort of, once we'd had time to digest everything that happened, to come back.
When you watch people in the crowd sometimes, you think to yourself, maybe they've met as a result of an Amy song. It's just silly little things like that, and so you realise that you've got to continue to do it.
The spirit of the music we aim to keep that intact.
Definitely tried to bring them like the authentic Amy Winehouse show.
The wonderful thing about Alva is, like I'm saying, she comes from a similar place musically. She's inspired by a lot of the similar kind of things that Amy was. So she's able to give the music the right kind of treatment without doing an impersonation of Amy.
Amy gave me a lot of confidence. Again, because she didn't fear to be herself, and that is really inspiring.
I've known Alba for like 5 years, and so yeah, working with her has been great, and just seeing her grow. Obviously, when we first started doing this, she's probably a bit apprehensive because, you know, it's a legend and you're singing someone else's songs. But from the jump, everybody was just like to Alba, just be yourself, and just, you know, once she did that, because she's an artist in her own right and great singer, and then once she did that, then the rest was fine.
I admire the band so much for doing this. They're all really busy, but they love doing this. They love playing her songs, and I think they haven't forgot about her, and they don't want people to forget about her. And this is like shows how much they really loved her. They were like a family.
Alba's great. She's really brought her own thing to this, to what could be a very tricky thing to do.
I think the second year when we did the tour, I think that's when it started to take off. I think by about 10 shows in out of 33, then it really started to have its own identity.
You're wondering now what you do. Now you know this is the end. You're wondering how he will pay.
And I think she struck a really good balance between, you know, representing pretty faithfully how it sounded and having her own imprint on it.
They enjoy playing her songs as I do, and it's all about this. I enjoy singing her songs, and they don't want people to forget about her because she had such a short career, and I think it's fair that they keep playing her music. It's a good thing. I think it's a beautiful thing. Yeah.